It's finally time to talk about Ultra Ego. Yes, Vegeta's ultimate form that can even surpass Goku's Ultra Instinct.
No cap.
This entire time Vegeta's been on screen, he has taken so many L's in his career. He has fallen behind Goku time and time again. That's right, if I must remind you, we're old. After 30 years, we have been watching Vegeta suffer from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z to now. So that's why this is important to all of us, because Vegeta may soon win a fight.
I don't think so, pal.
Oh my god. Listen, I'm still a believer, okay? And now that he finally has his own transformation, it's time to go balls deep into how Akira Toriyama built up Vegeta to get this W throughout his journey. Yes, Vegeta's journey throughout Dragon Ball Z and Super has always been one based on ego. From his very introduction, Vegeta was the epitome of a prideful Saiyan. It didn't help being born the prince of all Saiyans, a prodigy far above others. Even when his planet was destroyed, Vegeta showed he was not in need of any sentimental attachments. Rather, he continued on with his life, believing strength was the only thing that mattered. All of this was due to the upbringing he received, being a Saiyan under the command of Frieza, with the only goal to conquer other planets. His entire self-worth was on how efficient he was compared to others. Deep down, even though he knew Frieza was above him in strength, Vegeta's ego gave him the resolve that one day he will overcome the likes of him. Vegeta's trip to Earth was also driven by this pride, wanting to use the Dragon Balls to gain immortality, which would effectively free himself from Frieza's grasp. On Earth, he showed no empathy or remorse, even towards his own comrade Nappa, once he showed a sign of weakness. However, Vegeta's own pride was challenged after Goku's power level shot over 8,000, or as said in the Ocean dub,
It's over 9,000!
Vegeta never in his life believed a low-born monkey would come this far. Despite this, he was never threatened by Goku's power until he started to use Kaioken to its full effect. To make matters worse, Vegeta would then be defeated by people weaker than Goku, where he barely escaped with his life, and if not for the low-class Saiyan's wishes, he would have been killed by Krillin, or worse, Yajirobe. However, this damaged pride was good for his growth, as the near-death experience activated his Zenkai boost, along with pushing his ego to the point where Vegeta felt like he could defeat anyone, even the monster who forced him to do his bidding all his life, Frieza. Sadly, Vegeta's inflated ego didn't last too long, as he realized he wasn't there yet in the terms of strength. This once again forced Vegeta to swallow his pride and work with the Earthlings just to survive, which, yeah, it just results in him getting destroyed by Recoome. Just as Vegeta's ego is destroyed, an event would occur, causing his insecurities to grow deeper than ever. Goku arrives on planet Namek, incomparably more powerful. He easily dispatches the fighters that just nearly killed Vegeta. This shocks Vegeta so much that he believed Goku may have ascended to a Super Saiyan. Vegeta then kills the Ginyu Force that Goku left alive, just because of the damage they did to his pride. From this moment onwards, Vegeta's journey of self-understanding hits a wall of an up and down cycle, one where he feels that he's on top, only then to be slapped back down to reality. The rest of the Frieza arc was literally Vegeta getting owned. He couldn't even muster the courage to fight second form Frieza, whilst the 5-year-old Gohan could, leaving Vegeta stunned by his power. To add more dirt to his wounded pride, Piccolo shows up with a power level surpassing his own. Vegeta's confidence gets extremely low, to the point where he begs, and I mean desperately begs, Krillin to inflict enough damage on him so that a Zenkai boost can allow him to compete against Frieza. Vegeta finally becomes the strongest there is. Right? That happens, right? Well, no. After getting what he wanted, it's revealed that Frieza was just toying with him as he easily smacks away Vegeta's most powerful blast. Vegeta truly feels hopeless, trembling and crying as Frieza mocks him. Showing no mercy, he beats Vegeta almost to death, shattering his mental fortitude that he once held with extreme pride. Suddenly, Goku comes back to the battlefield. Vegeta knows he's different now, seeming to sense his coming transformation into the legendary Super Saiyan warrior. Frieza, hearing this, blasts Vegeta in a vital point, causing him to slowly bleed out. Vegeta, believing that this is it for him, finally lets out his emotions that he's been bottling up all this time. He let go all that pride. That pride's gone because man's gonna die now, innit? What am I saying? During his final moment, he begs Goku to defeat Frieza as a fellow Saiyan, showing compassion for the first time in his life. Realizing what Frieza did to him, controlled him like a slave for years, destroyed his planet, killed his father. The only hope he had was the Super Saiyan legend, which he held on believing he would achieve it, only to accept that he wasn't the destined one. He was just another piece of trash for Frieza to dispose of. His ego is once again destroyed as Vegeta dies before Goku's eyes. Goku, after the events of Planet Namek and defeating Frieza, disappeared, leaving Vegeta completely lost in what to do with his life anymore. He ends up frantically searching the universe for Goku's energy to gain insight on how to become a Super Saiyan himself. Needless to say, he did not succeed in finding him. However, Vegeta did not give up in training. Rather, his pride is what kept him moving forward. Yes, Vegeta was thrown L's after L's, but this is what made us love him even more. The resilience that Vegeta had always stemmed from his ego, meaning one's self-consciousness and esteem in themselves. Vegeta's ego revolves around his strength over others and belief of never accepting defeat. With this in mind, Vegeta trained even further than before. This all led to his very first win. I'm talking about Bulma. On top of that, after stealing her from Yamcha, he gained instant access to her advanced technological gravity machine. This had to be the biggest dub in the entire series. But as I said, Vegeta's story is about the ups and downs of his ego. 1 year after Namek, Frieza and his father suddenly appear on Earth. Vegeta has been training his entire time, but still doesn't come close to Frieza's power. He is literally shitting bricks until a random Super Saiyan arrives, easily killing them both. This sudden appearance of another Super Saiyan is a big blow to Vegeta. At first, he believed that Goku was an exception, but now he knew it was him that was the problem. Not long after, Goku makes it back to Earth, sparring Trunks as Vegeta curdles with anger and envy over their power. This, however, is the moment that pushes Vegeta past his limits. Unlike Goku, who trains for the sake of training, as he enjoys the thrill of fighting those who are stronger, Vegeta trains to be the best, to be above others. Being number 2 was bad, but being number 3 is heartbreaking. So Vegeta goes on a pilgrimage to finally become a Super Saiyan. On a distant planet, Vegeta would almost lose his life, and in this moment, he stopped caring about everything, including his ego. He had given up on his goal. This sense of loss, fear, and despair caused Vegeta to finally snap, transforming into the legend he always yearned to be, a Super Saiyan. This was also the first hint that Vegeta wanting to surpass Goku actually hindered his growth, as during his training he would admit to being consumed by the anger of Goku being a Super Saiyan and not him. Goku was taught as a child by Master Roshi that there will always be someone stronger, so he trains for those invisible threats, whereas Vegeta just trains to surpass or match Goku, so he won't be left behind. Vegeta would even have a son during these 3 years that they trained, but he doesn't show any care, at least not yet.
My baby boy!
He's still in the mindset that strength means everything. But regardless, even though it was despair that pushed Vegeta into a Super Saiyan, what ultimately initiated everything was his ego. This training that Vegeta did was focused around 450 times gravity, breaking his own bones and risking death just to train. Ultra Ego works by the same concept. The more Vegeta gets hurt, the faster his power increases. This is all fueled by emotions, as the lust for battle is what drives him to fight fight on. Vegeta's ego was more pronounced than ever before. He saved Goku from the androids, feeling superior before dismantling the fat android easily, flexing his new power. For the first time after smashing Bulma, Vegeta's finally about to get another dub, right?
Stop the cap.
Dr. Gero escapes to his lab, releasing the two androids that Trunks traveled back in time to warn about. This doesn't matter to Vegeta, of course. Attacking the androids with no hesitation led to this. Once again, his ego is completely shattered, along with his arms, but Vegeta uses this as a fuel to get even stronger. Thematically, Akira Toriyama is building Vegeta as a character that required big L's to get small dubs. He needs to be beaten and bruised so that his ego can take the damage and push his resilience to an unheard level. This is Ultra Ego. Vegeta had this power subconsciously all his life. In the pursuit to restore his pride, Vegeta trains in the hyperbolic time chamber alongside his son Trunks. With his torn pride in mind, he is able to ascend further than ever before, not only becoming far superior than the androids who once made mockery out of him, but also was able to dismantle a semi-perfect Cell like he was nothing. However, Vegeta's passive ability of Ultra Ego activates. Vegeta being so eager to prove his power, he would help Cell transform into his perfect form. That's right, he literally lets Cell absorb the android so he can fight him. After coming out of the hyperbolic time chamber, he had finally surpassed Goku, becoming many times stronger. So, you know, he just felt he had to demonstrate this.
Bruh, look at this dude.
Yeah, as we said, Vegeta needs these L's to grow. He has to stack them up like a buff so that he can use it later down the line. But well, he just keeps stacking. Akira Toriyama needed Vegeta's L counter to go through the roof not long after he lost against Cell. Right after this loss, Vegeta witnessed the insane growth of Goku and his son's hyperbolic training. The two had mastered the Super Saiyan transformation and had ascended Super Saiyan further than he could ever imagine. Vegeta's ego is intrinsically linked to how much Goku grows. It's a constant fixation on his mind. Seeing Goku in this state was a constant jab at his pride, not only as a warrior, but also what a representation of a Saiyan should be. Goku and Gohan were able to maintain Super Saiyan form around the clock with no drop in stamina. Vegeta was floored by Goku's genius. Goku had once again completely left Vegeta in the dust, even more so when he powers up against Cell. Vegeta isn't even a worthy opponent for Cell. Goku and Gohan have their own bouts against Cell, but he is left in the background until, yes, Vegeta attacks Cell in a way he's never attacked an opponent before, from behind, just to ensure the safety of Earth. After having his pride pulled down time and time again, Vegeta slowly came up to accept that he needed to open his heart and build a family. He saw how Goku and Trunks, his own son, were able to ascend further using their emotions, and he too must have noticed his power drastically increase after witnessing his future son get killed in front of his eyes. This change and damaged ego evolved Vegeta far greater. For the next 7 years, even after Goku's death, Vegeta continued honing his strength, reaching Super Saiyan 2 as he knew very well that Goku, though dead, was still training in the afterlife and didn't want to waste any time in surpassing him. However, he also built a family of his own, marrying Bulma and even establishing a good relationship with his son. However, deep down, Vegeta's pride was not diminished. Everything he was doing was for one purpose, which was to finally surpass Goku. The moment Vegeta heard the news that Goku would be returning for one day in the world of the living for the martial arts tournament, he went full throttle. Now, with his family and training for 7 years, he felt he was ready to challenge the very person who he thought he was a shadow of. While Vegeta was training aggressively, where we even see his prideful nature unravel after learning his 8-year-old son had become a Super Saiyan. Like, this man, it took him decades to become a Super Saiyan, and this 8-year-old kid was already a Super Saiyan. He confidently told Trunks to go all out, only to be pushed in retaliating. But the manifestation of his anger, ego, and pride takes full force when Vegeta Vegeta goes Majin, wanting to surpass Goku so deeply that he willingly succumbs to becoming inhuman, regressing to where he once was. However, this was the very moment we first saw the glimpse of what would be the foundations of Vegeta's alter ego. Being under a powerful spell by Babidi, Vegeta's mind and body were entrapped. But Vegeta revealed he allowed this to happen and refused to take any command other than to fight Goku. The only means of overcoming this spell was Vegeta's pride, which would then give him his long-awaited W as he finally defeated Goku. Okay, regardless of this fake W, during this fight, Goku questions Vegeta's facade, calling him a liar when he claims to only care about fighting him. Vegeta starts to feel his mind break repeatedly, telling him to shut up every time Goku brings up his family. After knocking out Goku, we find out the real reason Vegeta did this was to stop Goku from saving him again like a hero, having that dangling over his head once again. Yes, even though their very fight fueled the awakening of Majin Buu to redeem himself from this massive blunder, Vegeta hugs his son, appreciating the family he has, then knocking the boy unconscious to make him avoid this battle with Buu, telling Piccolo to take Trunks and Goten as far away as possible. Even after finding out from Piccolo that he would not keep his body or even be able to fight Goku ever again. Knowing he would suffer in hell for eternity, Vegeta replies, "So be it." He realizes who he truly is for the first time, sacrificing himself for the safety of Earth. His power sprung from his pride of saving everyone he loves. But even after dying, this dude doesn't catch a break. He says sacrifice goes all in vain as, yep, Majin Buu is very much alive. Oh, and then he finds out Goku was holding back the Super Saiyan 3 transformation. Alright, take that W away, bro. Vegeta makes a similar sacrifice once again, even after being dead, choosing to fuse with Goku to protect the planet after Goku brings up his family being killed by Buu. Vegeta had no reason to assume that this function would ever come undone, but did it anyway. At the end of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta witnesses Goku versus Kid Buu, finally coming to terms with the fact that he has been blinded by his rage and envy all this time, and Goku is better than him, truly the best. Bringing us into Dragon Ball Super. Now, we all know about their power-ups, but let's finally talk about why Vegeta chose to go down a different path than Goku. In the Tournament of Power, Vegeta tries to access Ultra Instinct, ultimately deciding against it, as it goes against all of Vegeta's principles. Vegeta fights with his heart and pride. Using a technique which makes your body move instinctively is not a good fit for him. He is so against following that path, he goes down the complete opposite route, choosing a form that is pure savagery compared to the majesticness of Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is a technique of the angels, which is why Goku has trained with the likes of Mirrors and Whis to master it further. But Vegeta's teacher is no slouch, being the god of destruction himself, Beerus. Goku and Vegeta's rivalry is actually a rivalry for Whis and Beerus, as they both threw down the gauntlet since this is the only real way they can compete. Beerus taught Vegeta how to start using the power of HAKAI, aka destruction. He told Vegeta that it derives from instinct, and power driven by pure instinct is unbounded. Ultra Ego is like an enhanced alternative of Zenkai boosts, fitting for one such as Vegeta, who took advantage of them more than anyone. Just look at this L count. The more damage he takes and the more his soul burns, the stronger he grows. Despite Vegeta being taught by Beerus, he developed this form all on his own. This is all of Vegeta's stacked of L's we've discussed in this video finally being unleashed. He wraps himself in more destruction, as illustrated with the HAKAI aura he uses in his own unique way. This form increases Vegeta's overall strength tremendously and allows him to use the power of destruction in full. Ultra Ego fuels his respect for the lust of battle, as his passion and emotions heightens his overall power. Gods of destruction are the primary users of this type of state. They indulge in their destructive role and instincts, becoming more bloodthirsty and ferocious than before. Vegeta eventually terrifies Gas with this form, the strongest warrior in the universe. All this time, subconsciously, Vegeta was limiting his power since he wasn't accepting who he truly was. Vegeta believed he had to remove his Saiyan pride and become a family man, but later he learns from Bardock one does not need to change their nature to love and protect others. His nature of wanting to be great and hold the pride of the Saiyan people isn't a contradiction to also wanting to love his family. Beerus tells him to stop burdening himself with the past and tying himself to it, revealing that he was the one to recommend the destruction of planet Vegeta, encouraging Vegeta to not be controlled by the past Saiyans. He should control his own fate. Vegeta believed that to access it fully, he needed to revert back to the ego-driven Saiyan he was before. He comes to accept that he can't revert back to the man he once was in chapter 76, but with a smile on his face, willing to accept his death for the sake of his people's sins. Vegeta missed the point though. He doesn't have to revert back to access Ultra Ego's full power. He just needed to stop burdening himself for all of the sins of the Saiyan race. Through Bardock's message, he realizes this, reigniting within him what Saiyan pride truly is. Vegeta comes to this realization much faster than Goku, reaching a new level with Ultra Ego, even surpassing him. He takes Bardock's message to heart, probably because he realizes that him and Bardock are fundamentally very similar. Bardock and Vegeta were both able to utilize their Saiyan fighting spirit along with caring for their families. He also learns from Monaito that pride is when one sticks to their values and convictions, meaning that Vegeta can in fact use this power to a great extent against what he said earlier. In the preceding fight against Gas, Vegeta uses Ultra Ego to a completely different level, using God of Destruction level moves that can erase mortals and still keeps getting stronger with every bit of damage he takes. As Goku was trapped in a state of limbo with his power, Vegeta was infinitely evolving as much as his endurance could handle, and as we have seen many times, his endurance is his most defining trait. Fundamentally, if Vegeta continues to train with Goku or Beerus, getting hurt in the process, he in the future could become the strongest of all. In chapter 27, Beerus even says that Vegeta could be a candidate for a God of Destruction in another universe. Alright, this man he's a L god, but he's the GOAT. But you guys should check out Gohan's Beast Mode. We explain everything about Gohan's Beast Mode. Like, what the fuck is Beast Mode? The new movie, you know? Go check that out. Also, like the video.